Hey everyone, this is David. Welcome back behind the velvet rope. But let's just get right into it today because we are joined by the one, the only Dee Snider.
Hey, David, great to meet you. Great to be here. As we said, we got on the morning after.
Doll is in the house. It is the morning after. Like, has it sunken in, fresh off your Masked Singer elimination? How are you?
Well, I'm glad to give people the opportunity to see that this is what my hair looks like, not the Nutty Professor. That when you take the damn mask off, it's like you've been under a mask. I had a helmet on, and also my hair's everywhere. I'm sweating, makeup's worn off. So it's like, this is not my best look. And Gayle King's body's still on me.
I mean, but listen, you are a multi-platinum singer, songwriter. You've traveled all over the world on your own and with Twisted Sister. Like, how did this compare to like other things that you've done in your career?
Very, very different. And I've been doing interviews and trying to impress upon the audience, appreciate the performers. It is really disorienting. It is almost like a sensory deprivation experience when you get in. Some of these costumes are unwieldy. Like I said, Gayle King's body, a giant head, and I had on 7-inch pumps, which was my idea because I used to wear them being the D back in the day. But I forgot. Oh yeah, but you're not just going to be in a pair of spandex, running around a stage. You're going to have this big giant head and a view. You like a little area like this that you're looking at. I couldn't see my feet, so it's very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine it's difficult. Did you at least have some fun? It seemed like you were having fun up there.
Well, that's, that is the magic of life, of performing. It's our job. We're not supposed to look like we're miserable. We're supposed to look like, and this goes for performing in general, and believe me, I'm not griping about my life choice, but if you make it to the level where you get the tour and it's night after night, and you're singing 25 songs a night and you're doing it well, you're doing it right. It's at the end of each show, you feel pretty beaten up because you just gave your all. So, I mean, but that's what, but the next night, that new audience deserves the best you got. So as tough as it was wearing those shoes and that head and that Gayle King body, I want to give people a great show and I want people to have fun. And I would never ever show that I'm dying in here. I'm dying in here.
Well, you are a true performer. I know you guys, like even in the beginning with Twisted Sister, before you guys broke out, you really were touring nonstop, performing night after night. It really was that third album. I mean, We're Not Going to Take It. We saw you sing that at the end of your elimination, I Want to Rock. That really like elevated you to the stratosphere. Like, what was it like, like in the height of the 80s when you guys were everywhere and touring and everyone wanted a piece of you?
First of all, I just want to say that singing We're Not Going to Take It spontaneously, that was a not so subtle protest on my part.
I love it.
That was a not so subtle. I'm not going to take it. Anyway, you can't put the mask back on, unfortunately. You know what I mean? It's like being shot out of a cannon. You think you're prepared. You said Twisted was together for 10 years before we broke. We played thousands of shows in clubs and bars and little theaters and things, but still, it's when it happens, it's like this other level of just recognition and acceptance. And my wife's writing her memoirs, but in my wife's life, I'm a footnote. Literally, it's like, oh yeah, she was married to this guy in a band. I mean, when people see her book, it's going to blow their minds. But she was writing just about seeing just the way we were treated and idolized and just like people just bending over to do anything you want, any way you want. You really are. They do indulge your eccentricities when you make it the big time. Anything you crazy. I don't like green M&Ms. Well, you will never see another green M&M as long as you live.
Was that the biggest eccentricity you had? Like, what was your number one rider thing where you're like looking back and you're like, man, that was high maintenance?
You couldn't look at me. It was you couldn't watch me during sound check. So I would have them empty the arena. And by empty, I mean that there wasn't open yet. So that meant the vendors, security, everybody, the guy cleaning the bathrooms, they had to go outside in the winter. They weren't allowed to hear my precious boy. I promise you, people, I'm much more. I got knocked down off my pedestal. I've been humbled. I lost everything. I'm a better man for it. So, but yeah, I look back and go, man, what an a-hole. Wow, I was an a-hole.
You're like, everybody get out of the arena. This is only for, tonight.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we got to see you on 80s Night. You sang, I am a huge Duran Duran fan. We saw you sing Hungry Like the Wolf. I know you're also a Duran Duran fan. Is rock and roll dead today? Is it really just back to the 80s and the pop and the greatness? Like, I'm kind of biased when it comes to 80s music. I think it's the best genre. Where do you think the music business is today compared to the 80s?
Before I answer that question, I just want to say that getting a chance to sing was a guilty pleasure to sing Don't You Forget About Me. Back in the 80s, I couldn't admit I liked that song because I was heavy metal, and I was an a-hole, but I always loved that song. So that was the one I really was excited to get to sing. No, sadly, there's some very irresponsible people out there. I don't want to name names, Gene Simmons, who say that rock is dead. It's not dead. What's changed is the way it is distributed, is the word I'm looking for, to the public. Now it's so target marketed. You don't know about a band unless you're a fan of the genre. Unfortunately, I've had my children who are grown now, but taking me to festivals and shows, and I've seen the heavy metal bands, and you go and there's bands I've never heard their names, and there'll be 10, 15,000 kids there singing every word and lose their minds. I go, why do I know about this band? Well, because it's no longer an MTV. It's no longer billboards. It's a little, oh, you like that kind of music? Well, you're going to get a little ad on your Facebook page, pop up, a little pop. And so rock stars are gone. In order to be a rock star, it needs to be an ubiquity where everybody knows you. I was on Melrose Avenue, and this black guy just jumped out of his car, and he said, it was like, oh my God, dude. He was like, and he goes, he says, I'm never a fan of rock and roll, but I used to see you on MTV, and and you inspired me, and I'm in the business now, and I'm not doing heavy metal, but you were and I was like, I'm getting chills now because, the fact that it would cross over. MTV didn't just play heavy metal; they played hip hop, they played pop, and so you saw all those bands. You were exposed to all those bands. It doesn't happen anymore.
Well, that's why you love Don't You Forget About Me, which is also a great song. Yes. Do you look at Flowers by Miley Cyrus just broke all records, like Rihanna? Is there any, Shawn Mendes, do you like any of the new non-rock music that's out there these days?
I'm going to tell you a secret. All right. On my phone, I've got a playlist. It says Dee's Fun. And it's all non-metal songs. It's all the songs that you wouldn't think Beyonce and Katy Perry and you would never think that Dee Snider would have. And it's just an upbeat pop. Because I am a metal guy. Still love heavy metal. And but every now and then, you just want to throw on some Pink or Christina Aguilera or whatever. And so I've got this Dee's Fun list. Yeah, it's all on there.
So on Dee's Fun list, we have Katy Perry, we have Beyonce.
Yes. All these huge songs. I got Ricky, what's the I got, Living La Vida Loca's on. I'm going back. It's just fun.
I love it. Well, listen, we did see you wear